have so many of these. I'm Sharon, and this is episode 322 of the Knit Style Podcast. Hi, everybody, and how are you all this week? Today is St. Patrick's Day. I have green nails, a green cowl, and a kind of swampy green top on today. I do like green. I like more of the swampy green colors, though. I also have on a green American Eagle peanut shirt on underneath. So yes, I'm actually, I do have Irish in me. I don't know if it's half. There is some there though. At least a quarter. And the other part is German. Great combo. Anyway, I have been traveling a lot. I just got back from a trip to Florida. Speaking of family heritage, I was helping my dad move into a more assisted living facility, and that went very well, and he's there now and nice and safe, so I shouldn't have to travel for that for a while. It's a lot, as you know, dealing with your aging parents. My dad is 95 years old. He turned 95 last week. Isn't that amazing? God bless him. He's doing okay. So, hey, 95. That's crazy. So, it was a good trip. It's a little crazy down there. They had a horrible hurricane last fall. He lives in Fort Myers, Florida, and was only 5 miles from the direct hit of the hurricane, and everything, the first floor in his facility and all the buildings pretty much got trashed, so they're redoing it, and it's insane, you guys. The traffic down there is next level. You can't get hotel rooms. It's an ordeal, but we persevere, and everything is good with my dad, so that's awesome. So, but I shouldn't have to travel for a while now. I'm hoping my next planned trip is October, so that's a ways away, and that's what's been going on. So let's talk about shop update. I am going to be starting to dye a 25 set mini skein set that I have still available in my shop. I ordered the yarn for it yesterday. It's shipping tomorrow. And I ordered a few extra sets, so they're still available. And the theme, they're not wrapped like an advent. It's not a countdown calendar. It just has an overall theme, and each skein I'm not even naming each skein. They're just all beautifully dyed skeins. So the theme is just speckletastic. So these are just examples of past speckly yarns that I've dyed. I will be knitting these up very shortly. I'll talk about more about that in a minute. But these are just some past colors, and it's just going to be the flavor of the day, what I feel like dyeing that day, and it will all coordinate. I promise you, it'll all come together in the end. So I'm very excited about dyeing these. It's just going to be a lot of fun to dye them, and I hope you guys love them. But they're in the shop, and it's a no frills kind of pre-order. There's no extras, there's no bag, there's no stitch markers. It's just yarn, so I'm trying to keep the costs down. You can get free shipping by putting in free ship at checkout. Anything over $50 that you spend in my shop is free shipping. And yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. So I plan on shipping those out at the end of April. So I'm going to be starting to dye those very soon so I can have them all ready for you. And it's pretty exciting. So that's still available. And when they're sold out, that's it. I'm not ordering anymore. Okay. The other thing, I did a little bit of weekly dyeing this week, and Rich and I have been really enjoying the show, The Mandalorian. It came back March 1st, I think it was back, and we're 2 episodes in. We're going to watch episode 3 tonight, and I have dyed some skeins of yarn based on the series and maybe some colors that I saw as I was watching the show. So I did a mini skein set, and I did a few full skeins as well. So here is the mini skein set, just based on the feel and the colors in the show. So this one is dark saber, because the Mandalorian has a lightsaber that's like glowing white with black. I think it glows. No, it glows. It's black with a glowing white outline. It's called Dark Saber, and that's the name of this mini. This is Mando and Grogu, named after them. They got back together, spoiler alert, sorry, and are traveling together throughout their galaxy, and it's so cute. They're in a ship, and Grogu sits up top, and Mandalorian sits in his cockpit, and it's super cute. This one is the Mines of Mandalore, and he goes there on a quest to purify himself because of lore surrounding his race. And this is The Way of the Mandalore. And it's based on like the colors of one of the characters. I don't really know her name, but she's in the first episode. And I just thought her colors were really cool. And of course, I had to do Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is now, we know his name. It's Grogu. But before we knew his name, he was Baby Yoda. So this is Baby Yoda. I dyed this before. This is not a new colorway, but it's back. So those were really fun to dye. It's just fun to go online and get some inspiration. I love doing that. So yeah, those are those minis. And then I did some full skeins, a few. So I didn't do the whole set of minis as full skeins, but I did Baby Yoda, which is such a pretty, the monitor is blowing it out a little. It's like a sagey green, tonal, and it's got some really beautiful depth to it. So I love this color. I might need a pair of Baby Yoda socks. And I love this color, The Way of the Mandalore on full skeins. This would make a really pretty sweater. And this would also make a very pretty sweater or socks or shawl. This is the Mines of Mandalore. And I based this color on, I think it's the season 3 poster that I found online. I'll see if I can find it and pop in a picture of my inspiration for this one. So that was super fun. I enjoyed dyeing those this week. So those are all in the shop right now if you're interested. And yeah, oh, I almost forgot. The bag of the week. I haven't named this yet, but it's a beautiful sheep bag with lots of texture. And it's got these cable patterns and other textured stitches on it. And I did a simple black and white to match. I love it. So classic. Just a black, gray, charcoal, and white. So it's, I don't know, sheep, something to do with sheep. I will think of it. I've been mulling around about the title in my head, and it'll come to me. Okay, so that's the shop update, and let's talk next about what I have been knitting. So I have some finished objects to show you. I forgot to bring these up the last time, but these are some beautiful fuzzy mohair socks that I knit right around the holiday season, maybe January, because my feet get very cold. And I've been holding together mohair with wool. So this is the Advent socks by Woolens and Nosh, Advent yarn that I got by Woolens and Nosh, and I held it together with some light gray mohair, and I knit these fuzzy socks, and I love them. Wear them all the time because my feet freeze. So they're awesome. And so actually, let me talk about, so I found a good recipe for this. So I cast on 40 stitches with a size 3 needle. 3? I think 3. And, you know, knit 2x2 rib, a plain cuff, fish lips kiss heel, plain foot, and a classic toe, Kitchener toe. I always knit my socks top down now because I like the twisted German cast on, so the cuffs aren't tight. The cast on isn't tight. I love that cast on. Yeah. So love those. And I wanted to finish, I started a Hap shawl, and I wanted to finish it before I traveled to Fort Myers because planes are cold. I always fly JetBlue, and they have new planes. They're beautiful. They're cold. So I finished my Hap before I left. Look. It is gorgeous, you guys. So this is the Sheltie Square by Knit Spot. And look how beautiful. I love it. And I knit this from, not Navia Duo. I knit it from Holst Super Soft. And it really does soften up when you wash it. It's light, which is why I like it. And I wanted it for a lap blanket. I only knit this for a lap. I could wear it as a shawl very easily. So a Hap is just 2 triangle shawls together, and you just, I mean, a triangle shawl is basically a half of a Hap. I mean, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I could totally wear it. that beautiful with a shawl pin? Love it. But I really knit this to put on my lap. And so I have a bag that I carry on, and I just have my iPad in it. I really try and travel as light as I possibly can. And this fits right next to my iPad. And if I need it, I can just pull it out. And let me tell you, on the flight home, the flight down there wasn't too bad. The flight home, oh, my legs were freezing. So I pulled this out, cuddled up in it, put it on my lap, and it really helped a lot. I was still a little cold, but it did help a lot. So that was amazing. And I sat with knitters on my way home. Okay, so I traveled alone, and I don't like to talk to strangers, so I wear big, giant Sony XM3 headphones, and I listen to podcasts or audiobooks, and I tune everybody out. And on both flights, I had people poking me. And actually, this flight on the way home, I sat so her husband was in the middle and she was by the window. She was a knitter, so he tapped me and indicated that his wife was knitting. So I was chatting with her. I don't mind talking to knitters. That was fine. And then the woman sitting in the other seat across the aisle was also a knitter. So we had a little knitting group going on. It was very funny. We were sharing patterns. So that was kind of fun. But in general, I don't like to talk to people unless you're a crafter. So I sat next to a needle pointer on my way back from the cruise. That was fun too. She was really, really cute. Her husband was a Broadway conductor. How interesting. And he was traveling with, I'm trying to think, what show was he traveling with? Hamilton? I don't know. Some big show. One of those shows. I think it was Hamilton. That was fascinating, talking to her. So I just don't want to talk to creepy people. I mean, there are creepy people on planes, right? So I always insulate myself with my headphones. This was a big success, though, and I keep it next to my chair at night because sometimes it's chilly here in New York. And I have one other finished object to show you. I love these. So I started these on our trip to Disney in November. I told you guys that I like to start a new project when I travel. And so I started these on our November, we left November 1st on our Disney trip. So I started these November 1st. And I just finished them last week. And socks, I have no deadline. I just knit them. And when they're done, they're done. So these are my regular sock recipe. You know, plain cuff, fish lips kiss heel, plain foot, classic toe. Twisted German cast on. If you would like me to do a tutorial for the Twisted German cast on next week, leave a comment down below. Speaking of new projects, I started a new pair of socks when I went to Fort Myers, and these are them. I had a lot of knitting time in Fort Myers because I was sitting with my dad, and so I got one sock pretty much completely done. This is Mustache Yarns. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this is also Mustache Yarns, self-striping. I don't know the name of the colorway, but it's a Kylo Ren inspired color. This is also a Star Wars inspired color. This is Space Wizard. So she will do all of these colors again in May. She does it for May the 4th be with you update, Star Wars update in May. So Yeah, if you want these, you don't have to wait too long. She should be ramping this up. She also does it at the holidays. But this is Space Wizard. Love these. Anything with gray. Love. And I have the second one started. I was working on it today at the hairdresser. So these will be finished soon. And my dad, he was so cute when I was knitting these. He's like, I like your little stocking that you're knitting. And I think he wants me to knit him a pair, and I probably will. So I'll have to find a nice color for him. Although he probably won't remember that he asked me. But he didn't even remember me that I came in November. But anyway. So, yeah, so those are cool. Oh, and my other pair of socks, I started these when we went on the cruise. Another pair of mustache yarn socks, same recipe. And these are You Had Me at Hello, which is a movie reference. Jerry Maguire, I believe. Really pretty. I love these colors, and this yarn is just lovely to work with. So that's fun. And I also, back in January, when I finished these, I cast on another pair of fuzzy socks with Woolens and Nosh held together with gray mohair. And this is actually DK, so it's a little thicker. I actually cast on the same amount of stitches. Now these are kind of stretched out because I've been wearing them, but these fit. I tried them on. So this colorway is another Mandalorian colorway that Michelle from Woolens and Nosh dyed, and this is the way. And I love it. Beautiful. Here's the yarn. Okay. I have one more work in progress. And I told you I was going, once I finished that shawl, that I was going to cast on Stephen West's Marled Mania sweater that I have wanted to make for years. I'll put a picture of it in here. This is the yarn. I dyed it. So I'm using Familiar and Stiletto. And I am holding them together and marling them. Familiar is dyed from a color that, or from a base that I haven't dyed in a while, but this is my MCN base, Merino Nylon Cashmere, and it's beautiful. And this is just my soft singles base that I love. Beautiful. And they're marling together so lovely. So I'm knitting the size large because I've been knitting my sweaters so tight lately. So I'm knitting the large, which I think is size 45. And I just want it to be a comfortable sweater that I throw on and wear almost like a sweatshirt. So I'm going up a size. I normally would knit the medium, but I'm going to knit the large. Knitting it on a size 7. My swatch said my gauge was correct. It may lie. Who knows? I am knitting this along with my friend Susan. Hi, Susan, if you're watching. We're having a little knitting group when we can get together, and I am helping her knit a Stephen West sweater for her son. She is casting on garter marler, and I dyed the yarn for her. I'll put in a picture of the yarn. And she's never knit a sweater like that before. I don't know if she's ever, I think she's knit baby sweaters. I don't know if she's ever knit an adult sweater like this. So anyway, I'm helping her with the gauge swatch and all of that, and the measuring and whatever, since it is a gift for her son. And we've had such a good time doing that. Oh my goodness, how fun to have a knitting friend close by. So that's really cool. Oh, so my sweater, my Stephen West Marled sweater, Marled Mania, calls for mini skeins. So I'll be using these mini skeins like I showed you in this sweater. So you hold them together for the body of the sweater. And I have a whole bunch of them up here in that basket. I'm going to be using them in my sweater. So I'm very excited. I've wanted to knit this for a long time. And it's going to be a great shop sample. If you guys are interested in me dyeing, I'll let you know how much yarn I'm using. I don't know if I'm going to need these next 2 skeins. I dyed way enough. I don't think that yoke is going to be 800 yards. I really don't. Or all together. Maybe 600? I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know if I crack into these. So we'll see. I'm having fun with it. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so that is all the knitting I've been doing. I've been doing quite a bit. And it's been super fun. So I thought today I would almost do like a what's in my notions pouch segment, but I'm going to spin it as what I would bring with me, or what is my essentials, knitting essentials for travel. So knitting notions for travel, I would say it heavily depends on what you're knitting. So I've really been only knitting socks. So this is my everyday notions pouch, and it's stuffed with stuff. I'm going to show you what's in here. I generally don't bring this whole thing with me when I'm on a Florida trip. Maybe if I went upstate, I would bring this with me, but not in my suitcase. But one thing that I would need if I'm knitting socks is an extra needle in the same size I'm knitting socks, because you never know. Plus, I would bring a needle in a size smaller than the needle I'm currently using, or 2 sizes smaller. This is a 00, an Addy 00, and I really like it for fixing mistakes. Like if I have to rip out, it's so much easier to pick up your stitches with a needle that's smaller than the size that you've been using. It's a little trick for you. So that I would definitely bring extra needles. I would probably bring, if I was knitting socks with gussets, I would bring these little stitch markers, because I always need stitch markers to let me know where the gussets are. But if I'm knitting Fish Lips Kiss, I don't need them. So I have all my notions labeled. So small lace markers. I would not bring these large round lace markers. I also have a little, I might bring this, a little crochet hook that you can hook on. This is a nice, if you're not great at fixing mistakes without a crochet hook, these are great. I don't remember where I got these, but you could get it probably in any knitting supply store. So a little crochet hook. So this is nice. It's got one side, it's got a bigger hook, and the other side a smaller hook. That's a very useful little tool for travel. Needle gauge, I probably wouldn't. For socks, no. If I brought up multiple projects, maybe. Edison bold markers. These are very useful. I go through these. In fact, it's empty. I go through these like crazy because I use them to mark sleeves. And I would definitely at least have one on hand to mark beginning of round with socks. Measuring tape. I probably wouldn't. Well, I might throw a measuring tape in my knitting bag, a little one, because very useful. You never know when you might need it. Scissors. I would bring a small set. Probably not these nice, good stork scissors, but I would bring like a cheaper pair. I don't really usually need them on the plane. Depends on what I'm knitting. Chibi needles for sure. In case you decide you want to do Kitchener, which I usually leave until the end. And I do have cable needles in my Notions bag. I don't know why. I should take them out because I never use them. Ever. Because I cable without a cable needle. But they're just here. Hanging out. This, I forget the name of this gadget. But it's a gadget that's good for fixing garter stitch. Because you really should be fixing your stitches on the right side. And this way you can kind of pull through and fix your garter stitch. Let me know if you want me to do a fixing mistakes segment also. I'm thinking about doing some tutorial segments in these shows. I'm not going to do them separately. I'm going to put them in the show. So let me know what you want to see. So that's basically what's always in my Notions pouch. I think the most important thing, extra needle, scissors, some sort of marker system if you need it. And what I usually do is I make a list. I have lists, running lists of things that I use when I travel because I hate to forget stuff. It drives me crazy. And when I'm on Disney property, there is no yarn store. I can't go out and get needles, although you can order from Amazon and have it delivered to your hotel. I have done that. I didn't have a watch charger one time, and I ordered one on Amazon, and it came to my hotel. It was amazing. So it's not as bad as it used to be. Okay, I have a corned beef in my crock pot that is waiting for my attention. We're having corned beef and cabbage tonight, and I forgot to put it in the crock pot before I went out to get my hair done today, so I had to text my son and have him put it in. Anyway, we are having corned beef tonight. I'm very, very excited about it because we all love corned beef. It's delicious. And yeah, I hope that you are enjoying the start of spring. We had a huge snowstorm this week, but it should be over by now. It's pretty much all melted by now, so that's really cool. So, have a great week. I probably won't be back for 2 more weeks because I have to get my taxes done, but have a good 2 weeks. I owe one of you a prize. It's coming. I'm mailing it tomorrow. I'm not doing any giveaways until I have a more regular recording schedule. Right now it's still a little crazy, but I should settle in soon, and I will start doing giveaways again. So, have a great week, knit something beautiful, and cheers!